In this video, I'm covering the topic of going barefoot or wearing shoes. Now in the research, almost everything has viewed this from a running standpoint. So should you do shod running, which is with shoes, or is barefoot running better? And I kind of hate that comparison because if you're running long distances or you're running on concrete or you're doing it for performance purposes, then wearing shoes is going to give you some better leverage or some better mechanical advantage. But for day-to-day use or day-to-day footwear, I'm almost always barefoot. So if you see me up at the clinic right now, I'm barefoot. If you see me walking around the street or in my neighborhood, I'm probably going to be barefoot. I mean, the neighbors think it's kind of funny, but who cares? So, and the reasons for that is that I want to use the natural arch of my foot. And that arch is very much like a spring. So when I step down, the arch collapses, your foot goes into pronation, and that gives you power to spring and push off for that next step. So I want to use the natural arch of my foot. Also, being barefoot helps strengthen the small muscles of the feet. There's tons of small intrinsic muscles within the feet that give you a lot of sensory input or proprioceptive refinement. And what that means is when you're walking barefoot, you feel all the little muscles or all the little parts of your feet giving input to what's happening on the ground and in the rest of your body. And then lastly, from a whole body postural standpoint, when you're using the arch of your foot and your foot is then stacked on your subtalar joint and then your knee and hip are stacked directly above that, that's the most posturally efficient position to be in. So for all those reasons, whether it be using the arch of my foot, strengthening the small muscles in my feet, getting the proper sensory feedback, and then helping with overall postural alignment, I'm a huge fan of going barefoot throughout the day. Now on the flip side of that, you might have someone who comes in and they're very pronated or very flat-footed. They've lost the function of their arch, so they kind of rest on the inside of their feet. What that does is it collapses the subtalar joint, the knees will pull into valgus, the hips internally rotate, and that creates this very knock-kneed sort of posture. For that individual, we need to start them using some sort of orthotic or some sort of footwear while strengthening the small muscles of their feet. So doing foot doming exercises that strengthen that arch response, bringing the arch of the foot back up. Once that gets stronger, then we can progress that person to more of a barefoot position. Because when we think about how shoes progressed throughout the generations, shoes really didn't become popular until the mid-1900s. And the reason for that is that people started using them more for running, more for comfort, more for work-related purposes. And what they did was start adding more and more cushion to the foot. Now, in my opinion, wearing a big cushion shoe all day is kind of like wearing a cast for your foot, where you really lose a lot of that sensory feedback through the bottom of the foot. And then as a result, you're less quick or less adaptable to various terrains. So with myself, I'm barefoot all the time. I can pick up when I'm stepping on a small pebble or when I have a change in terrain, and I can adjust to that quickly. Because of that, I feel like I'm at a very low risk for ankle sprains. I feel like I'm at a low risk for having plantar fasciitis symptoms, because so many people come in and they report that tightness through their plantar fascia or tightness through the low calf and the heel, and it's because they're not training their muscles to be used in that way, and that's because they're wearing this big supportive shoe that's really not helping them in the long run. So if you are thinking about this on how to apply it on a day-to-day basis, I would recommend trying to walk around your house or walk around your neighborhood in more of a barefoot or zero drop type of shoe. That's going to allow you to use your arch, strengthen your foot muscles, give you a lot more feedback from the ground. Now, if you are going out for a long distance run or you're going for a run that's on all concrete, something that's a lot harder on your feet, then using some sort of cushion shoe or something with a little bit more heel raise that has slightly more drop to it, that can be good to give you a little bit more efficiency out of your calf muscles. And it can be good because then if you're going out for a longer run, you want to, from a safety protection standpoint, if you're stepping over rocks and things like that, you don't want to hurt your feet that way. But so for day-to-day use, try to work towards getting more barefoot. For longer endurance type things, or if you're going to be out for long periods of time, that's where having some shoe support and cushion can help from a protective standpoint.